Good evening, everyone. Dr. Joe, welcome to our amazing village. I'm so excited to see all of you here on tonight for our village chat. Listen, what an amazing week we've all had. Gang, think about it. 1 week ago from today, you were scared, you were nervous, you were apprehensive, you didn't know left from right, you didn't know what tomorrow held for you. But here you are a weekend. We've had a great week. We've made it through the detox. We've had successful days of eating appropriately. We've been trained. We've been taught. We've tweaked. You've had your first master class. And here we all are back together again to corral and to celebrate and to keep both of our victories behind us and our failures. And that's important. And the reason why is because in the process of transformation, you can't gloat in your successes. And likewise, you can't be in the dumps about your failures. You have to learn from them. You got to make the adjustments. You have to tweak it. And then you continue to move forward. So we're excited because that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to take all of the good things that we did and we're going to improve upon them. And we're going to take all the bad things, the mistakes, and we're going to learn lessons from them. And if we look at it from that vantage point, then we win whether we had a good week or whether we had a bad week. So I'm so excited that you guys are here with us on tonight. Welcome to our village chat. I've got two amazing people who are going to be with us. I'm going to give you all the setup. I've got one person who is a young lady who is with us in the 40-day turn up. And we have another young lady who's with us from the Journey 3.0. And the way we're going to do this on tonight is I'm going to bring one up and we'll talk for a few minutes. I want you to get to know her and then we'll put her back in queue. We'll bring the next young lady up. We'll have a conversation and then we'll end together. And that way we'll have some one-on-one time and then we'll have some community time together. So I'm going to welcome my first guest. She is an international participant because she's coming all the way from Toronto, Canada. And I want to present to each of you, Miss Tilla Johanna. Did I get it right, Tilla?
You got it.
How you doing?
Hello, everybody. I'm representing the international team of Canada, England, United States, and Germany.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. You just representing everybody.
Totally. And shout out to my team, Waiting to Exhale. We're the girls on fire. And shout out to our team leader, Kia Jefferson, as well as Tamika.
That is just tremendous. So you're on the international team. Mm-hmm. Thank you for agreeing to be a part. I'm so glad that you've accepted. Now, the first thing that I see, not only this beautiful lady in front of me, but I see that beautiful lion behind you. Look at that. What does that mean to you when you see it?
Well, it goes back to the story of the lion and the lion skin. And, it was such an inspirational story. And I thought to myself, wow, I've got to be just like Dr. Joe, because whenever we see you on screen, we see that beautiful picture of the lion. And I thought, I better get me one of those. So I got it off Amazon. And it finally came just in time for our first day of weigh-in. So it was really awesome, the timing. And it just means everything to me, because when I'm down in the dumps or I've had a bad day or I've let work take over my day in terms of stress, all I think about or look at is the lion. And I think back to Hercules and the lion skin, and I'm wearing the lion skin. And you know what? It's not possible to fail. I mean, my mind is so focused on this journey, Dr. Joe, that nothing's going to break me. And whenever I feel that, inkling of breakage, all I do is look at my lion, and she's always up front in front of my desk every morning when I'm working.
That is awesome. Well, I thank you for that beautiful story. Well, Village Chat, as you know, it's about you guys, the people. I want people to hear your stories and where you're, and just to know about you and who you are, because that's very, very important in our village. So tell us something about you. We know you're from Toronto.
Mhm.
Tell us about what you do and just a few things about yourself so people can get to know you.
Well, first of all, I work with a faith-based organization. I work for the Toronto Catholic District School Board, and I worked my way up into a position as an officer, and I represent the Board of Trustees there.
Oh, wow. So tell us about what your work day looks like. Is a lot of administrative type of things that you do?
Absolutely. It's a lot of public relations work. That's my background. I spent 22 years in the industry,
Mhm.
and I do everything from writing the trustee speeches to planning events for them to expenditures, administrative. I just produced a Emerging Young Artist Festival, and whatever they want. And I represent 6 out of the 12 trustees. So my days sometime begin as early as 5 a.m. when I'm doing all the administrative components, and I could be working right up to 8 or 9 o'clock, which is partly why I got to the size that I am, because I'm always neglecting myself and always putting everybody first. And I'm a bit of a workaholic as well,
Mhm.
so I'm guilty of that. And I, thanks to you, have learned that I need to stop that. I need to start to focus on me and my needs, and especially my health.
Well, let's talk about that. You bring up an interesting point that a lot of people need to hear. You say that you got to the point to where you were concerned about everyone else but you.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to Tilla that you are working on you, that you're doing something where you're the center focus? How does that make you feel?
Well, originally, um, I got into a car crash, and it was a head-on collision. And at the accident scene, my blood pressure was at 210 over 185. And, that was the beginning of my downhill. And I could never gain control of my blood pressure. And I don't believe in pharmaceutical drugs. So I'm my doctor's worst patient, because I will not put synthetic drugs into my body. So that's where we began. And slowly and surely, everything started to catapult. In addition to which, I was a Coca Coca-Cola holic,
Oh, right.
if that makes any sense. I got to the point of drinking 2 cans per day,
Wow.
2 cans. And everybody told me, my kids told me, everybody close to me told me to stop drinking it, but I just kept drinking it. I couldn't face a meal without Coke. I couldn't, face pressure without a Coca-Cola. If I got emotionally down, I was grabbing the Coca-Cola, not to mention my bad eating habits, which compounded everything. And it wasn't until your last seminar, you explained about histamines in your stomach, and
Mhm.
that when you're bombarding everything with sugar and gluten and white flour, it's like your system doesn't know what to do with it. Now, when I first met you, Dr. Joe, a month ago, I weighed 222 pounds. If you asked me to do this interview back then, I would say, no way, Jose, because my face was really swollen like a balloon, you know, and I would have declined the opportunity, because I was just so depressed with how I was looking. And you asked me to tell you how I was feeling about myself. It was though my body and my spirit were detached. I was not one with who I was. I was not one with my heart. I wasn't one with myself. I felt like, Tilla was on the outside of this body, looking in with disgust. I hated myself. I couldn't walk past a mirror. I couldn't look at the color red. Every day I woke up, I was so sad, so sad. And I have a daughter who's really looks after herself, and I know I was such a disappointment to her. I know I was a disappointment to my son Ethan, and I have a third child, Caden, who has autism. and especially for him, Dr. Joe, I am everything to him. I'm the be all end all. And I just knew that if I continued down this path, that something would happen. And I was feeling a heart attack coming on because, in addition to swelled up feet and swollen legs, I was also really puffy and I was getting like pangs in my heart. It was like an electrical pain up and down. And that's when I thought, okay, Lord wants me to be still. And I would do my prayers and ask God that, please make this heart pain stop because I'm not going on heart medication. So, that those were the effects on all this pressure I face. And I'm, in addition to which, I'm also a single mom as well.
Wow. Well, you first of all, thank you for your transparency, and you really, I'm certain, are touching a lot of people who are listening, because um, what people have to understand is when you work on yourself,
Mhm.
you vibrate at a higher level. Your consciousness shifts. You think differently. You feel differently. You speak differently. So I just want to commend you on the great job that you have done. You're a beautiful spirit, and I'm just so glad that you're here. Now, tell us, how did you hear about the Turn Up, and what made you decide to be a part of it?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked because I have, my best friend is the godmother to my daughter. Her name is Maxine Bailey. Shout out to Maxine. And Maxine joined the 40-day turn up just before my group. So now she's in Journey 3.0.
Okay.
And when Maxine told me about this, she actually called me out of the blue. And we're two sisters from another mother. She called me out of the blue, and I remember crying. And I just felt so low, and I just really got on the floor on my hands and knees, and I just said, Lord, help me. I just don't know what to do about my life anymore. And then voila, Maxine called and she told me about this Dr. Joe and this 40-day turn up she's in. And I'm like, oh my God, call Dr. Joe right now and tell him I got to get into this program. She's like, no, 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 this is not how it works. I said, how does it work? Well, she goes, you have to be invited. I said, so invite me. Anyway, then she said, well, it's a process. You got to go through like modules. And I'm like, what? What? Wait a minute. How much does it cost? I'll pay for it right now. She goes, no, no, no. It doesn't cost anything. And I went, what? Because I was just about to pay someone $5,000, a guy named Andrew Hanoun in Canada, and he charges $5,000 for a class like this.
Wow.
And he says, don't do it. Just be patient, Tilla. You've got to go through the process. I'll help you get there. And I'm like, okay, well, just share the materials. Just I'll do it with you. And she's like, no, 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 I can't. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't? And she says, well, we're not allowed to do that in the course. And poor Maxine, I put so much pressure on her. But I want you to know what a good steward she is of your work, because she didn't share it with me. Not one.
Maxine. Well, that's awesome.
And so anyway, she did tell me just to, drink water, try to, cut down. So that helped me a lot. But she didn't break down the program because those were the rules, and she followed those rules. And then when, the 40-day turn up did open, she called me and she said, you got to try this. And so I was like the road runner. You couldn't see me from the dust, Dr. Joe.
Well, I can tell, I can tell by your involvement. Shout out to Maxine. That's great. I'm glad people are watching. And the reason why I'm emphatic about it being, or obsessive about it being that way, is a few reasons. Number one, I don't want people to be robbed of their experience by someone sharing something with them, because a lot of times people may focus on one thing and they'll leave out something else. Well, when you go through a process like this, you never know where someone's breakthrough comes from. So for Maxine to do what she did, shout out to Maxine, was great, because it's giving you the opportunity to focus on Tilla's process, and that is great. Well, Oh, I want you to hang tight. I want to bring in our next guest. Don't go anywhere because I have some conversation with her. You'll be able to see us, and then all three of us will kind of end our discussion together. Okay?
Okay.
Because I got some more questions for you, Tilla. So hold tight. All right, gang. I want to introduce our next guest, Miss Jacqueline Brown. How you doing, Miss Jacqueline?
Fine, thank you, Dr. Joe.
Love that name. It's just Jacqueline. It just flows off. How are you feeling today?
I am feeling great. I'm feeling excited. My book came in on yesterday. My devotional book came in on yesterday, and I was waiting for that for a while, and I almost ran out and kissed the mailman. He was he thought. When I said, "Oh, my book is here," he said, "You wrote a book?" And I said, "No, I need my journal book." It was exciting. He was just happy that I was so happy.
That is great. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for accepting to be my guest. You've been a wonderful participant, and you got great testimony. So I just want the people to hear, just like we talked to Tilla, I want people to hear about you. Tell us about who you are, where you're from, and what you do. Just some things to where the people can hear who Jacqueline is. Do it.
My name is Jacqueline again, and I am an operating room nurse. I've been a nurse for 21 years in the operating room. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. Oddly enough, I have a sister that is in Toronto, Canada, that is now in Journey 4.0. So I'll hook her and Tilla up together.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Okay, great. Excellent.
Yes. So that's exciting. I actually heard about the 40-day turn up, just not minding my business at work. I heard some people talking, and they were talking about trying to get in on this program. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, "What program are you talking about?" And that's when they told me, one of the gentlemen that was in it had told us that you have to sign up and all. So I signed up. And also, like Tilla, there was someone on our job that is doing a program themselves. And I think the food was like $400 a month. Mm-hmm. And I told her, "Well, I already committed to this, so I'll see you after it's over." But of course, I didn't even need to go.
Right. Good for you.
And you know what's crazy? I think she walks around there and she doesn't speak much anymore.
You getting all the results.
Yes, I am. And everybody is wanting to know what this program is that we went through and all. So it's exciting. I sent many people to the website so they can get on, and they're excited because they keep asking me a bunch of questions, and I too am like, "No, I can't tell you."
Good for you.
Yes.
Just like Maxine, what Tilla was talking about.
Yes.
Well, that is great. Now you are a transformer, right? Yes. That's the shirt, that beautiful purple shirt that you have on.
Yes.
And right. And now you're in Journey 3.0.
Yes.
Let's rewind a bit, and then we'll fast forward to the Journey 3.0. But take us to where you were, maybe mentally, emotionally, when you started the process, and just kind of take us to that Jacqueline, and compare that Jacqueline to who you have become now.
Well, my main reason for joining, I did need to lose weight for sure, but I had issues with high blood pressure. High blood pressure runs in my family, as well as diabetes and all. And when I learned that this program will help with that, I was excited into doing that, because this was almost like my last. I didn't know where else to go. I've tried so many things, and it didn't seem to work. I went as far as I went on vacation in Ghana and went to some health store, and it was some stuff I took and didn't even know what it was, but the guy said it will make my blood pressure go down. It was always something I was trying to figure out. How do I get rid of this blood pressure? I've been to many stores, tried many elixirs, and someone said my mother did it this way, and this was like my last hope. I said I have to find out how I can do this. And so listening to you talk, following all your directions, it really helped me. So now I'm just taking half of my medication now. So my medication has been cut in half. My blood pressure has been lowered. I lost 30 pounds.
Wow.
And I surpassed what my goal was. I didn't need, to this day, I didn't think I would ever be at this way. I never even saw it before. I never saw it. I just knew that I did everything you said. If I could sneak in the corner and listen to you talk when you went on live, that's what I did, because I needed to get the information.
Wow.
And I just had faith that God was going to help me, because I knew I prayed about it. So it was going to come some kind of way. So I was grateful for this thing.
Well, what do you think? What was it about the turn up and you being in this process, and you're continuing, of course? What is it that clicked? What was it about this that worked for Jacqueline?
It taught me how to be consistent. I had a problem with that in the past. Maybe that's why, it just, my mind was everywhere.
Yeah.
And so getting the teachings to tell you exactly why you should do stuff, not just take this, eat this, whatever. You gave reasons of why we should do it. And your ideas, your ideology is so familiar to what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And although I'm in healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things I don't agree with.
Right.
So I understood what it took to get to where I needed to be. And I decided that I was going to follow that.
Wow. That's something. Now let's fast forward to Journey 3.0.
So I was successful at losing the weight, but I knew that it was more to it than that. Just like you said at the beginning, don't worry about the weight. The weight is going to come off. And so to the people that started, just do what he says, the weight will come off. But it's bigger than that. You want to, when you did the analogy about the computer and the system and how it's three components, that resonated with me. So I know I need to get my spirit and my soul in line, and so that it could show more on the outside, not just with the weight loss, but my attitude, how I address people, how I interact with people. I want to do the most that I could possibly do so I could be the optimal me that God created me to be. And so that's what Journey 3.0 means to me. Like, I'm going to get to that place where I can be of use in God's kingdom, being the optimal me.
Let me ask you a question. That's amazing. Sometimes I think, like when we're having conversations, I can feel y'all's spirit, and I can feel like the energy of the collective. It's a strange thing, Jacqueline. It's like it's almost difficult for me to even say this, because I want to ask you, do you feel it? Like, do you really feel the energy that's like in the village? Like, I don't know if I'm making that question clear enough, but does that make sense to you at all?
No, it does. It absolutely does. I decided that I was going to give my all in this village to people I wasn't sure of. But at some point we have a connection because we're here, we're doing it together. So I decided that I was going to give my all. And evidently other people in the village are doing the same, because you always have this support, and you can't say no. It's more than just, I don't know how to describe it, but I was always on and up after being involved in the village and talking to my leaders and talking to my group, I was always just super excited for my next step. So it's bigger than it's bigger than the physical for sure. I know it was something that, and it's something bigger to come. I do know that. I don't know what it is.
I know, right? I agree with that. And that's the greatest thing about this is you can definitely tell there's something divine about this. It doesn't have anything to do with me. It doesn't have anything to do with you as an individual. But it's like the collective people. When people can reside and remain positive, and focused and supportive, I'm telling you, you can just tell. Like it's like the village almost is like a outlet for all of us who are living a crazy life. It's like from the Matrix almost. You know? And just like you all escape to it, I escape to it, and it's like we just like this big family that are just vibrating off of each other. And I'm just so glad that you're a part of it, Jacqueline. You're just a beautiful spirit. And do you mind me telling them your age? And I'm asking that just because you posted it. Is that okay? Now, before people throw something at me, she posted this. Can you tell them?
It's fine.
Tell them your age, Jacqueline.
I'm 50. I'm 52 years young.
50, and she looks like she's 22. That's what I told her. She's just glowing. I mean, it's just great.
Thank you.
You're doing great. I'm so proud of the results that you've gotten. And listen, it won't be long. I can't wait for you to be telling your testimony that how you'll be off blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So that's great. But listen, I want you to hang tight because what I want to do now, I want to bring Tilla back on and then the three of us chat. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. All right, Tilla, we got you on. It's the three of us.
That was a great interview.
Thank you. She's so sweet. Those Canadians.
They're so nice, aren't they? All right. So I want to ask Tilla, I'm gonna ask you a question, then Jacqueline will come back to you. Tilla, what do you want out of your process? When we finish, and you never really finish this, but when this process unofficially ends, what does Tilla want to show for her process?
Well, I have many things that I'd like to show. Number one, I'd like to regain my health because health is wealth, right? And if you're not feeling good and you're sick, there's nothing you can do. So I really pray to God that my health is restored, and it all has to do with my blood pressure. And I would also like to carry this work forward. I would love to join Journey 4.0 and help people the same way that you have helped us, the same way Monique and Maxine have helped everybody behind them. I would like to be a leader. I'd like to give back. And most of all, I'm a mother of a child from the different abilities sector. He has autism. And, I find that every time that I see these children online with all his courses, they're overweight. They have health issues. And I'd really love to show the All Abilities community that, you can learn about food and how to properly take care of yourself. Caden, in fact, went through detox with me. We're joined at the hips, Dr. Joe. So whatever I do, he does, because unfortunately, I don't have the time to cook two different menus. And Caden has thrived on this program. Mm-hmm. In fact, his cognitive abilities have remarkably improved. Wow. He's not having sugar, gluten, white flour, none of that. And it's just incredible. And we're about to meet a doctor in Jerusalem who has reversed autism. And he said to me that I have to look after his dietary needs. And I thought, well, I don't know how to do that. And then all of a sudden you came in, and it was just so divine, that you're the link between us and this doctor in Israel that's hopefully going to help my son. and he actually did marvelous on the detox. In fact, he fueled my fire because I was really having a hard time the first day. But Caden just sailed through it, and he's like, "Mom, I feel so good." And when he talks about his autism, he talks about the fog, and we have this scale from 1 to 10, and his fog is usually very high, like a 8 or a 9. But since the detox, the fog's been 5 or 4, and I can see that he's able to follow instructions more clearly, and there's just like a real sense of calmness about him. It's almost like, God entered his soul. I don't know how else to say this. He's been blessed, and this is helping him. It's helping myself, and most of all, it's helping all of my brothers and sisters in this beautiful village that we belong to. I just really feel you're all our family, and I'm just so honored that you've let a person like myself come into the group. And I'm from all the way from Canada, and I know there's hundreds of thousands of people in the United States that maybe I took one place away from, but I'm just so thankful, Dr. Joe. I'm really, really grateful for you allowing us to participate.
Well, listen, you're getting results. You're putting in the work. Listen, so you are you. If anybody deserves to be here, it is you. That is a beautiful testimony. Diet, especially dietary adjustments, lowering carbohydrate intake, statistically has great results for not only children with autism, as well as it's been used to treat epilepsy as well. There's a linkage in all of it. And it kind of goes back to what we talked about in the master class when I was making that connection between sorcery. Is that your son?
This is Caden. Say hi to Dr. Joe.
How you doing, Caden?
Look at this handsome boy, Dr.
Look at this handsome, look at this young man. Wow. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm glad you're here. You've been your mom's strength.
Yeah.
Yes, you're doing good. Look at you. You're looking dapper. I'm so glad you joined us.
Yeah.
Tell Dr. Joe how the juice went, the juicing.
Well, the juice is good. We did the juice for 2 days. I like the berry and cranberry. So.
Yeah, berry and apple cranberry. And what did Mom make you do? What was the special thing that I did that helped us get through it?
So I made some popsicles.
Yes.
Did you?
The popsicles was good.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you're just glowing. Look at this. You're such an inspiration. We're gonna have to send him a lion shirt.
Oh, that would be great.
I'm gonna get with your mom after this is over. We're gonna send you one this week. How about that?
Nice.
Okay.
Tell him.
All right.
Nice medium.
All right. Nice meeting you. That's great. And what a pleasant surprise. I'm glad you have him to come on. That is so special. We're gonna get that shirt this week.
That's
all right. So Jacqueline, I want to ask you the same question. What do you want to get out of Journey 3.0 for you?
Definitely build my new home. And what we're talking about is looking at this process is building a home. Mm-hmm. And you talked about, going through the demolition and planting the base.
Right.
I'm ready to do that. I don't think I ever delved that deeply into it. And so I'm excited about what else Journey 3.0 is bringing to my new body. Excellent. So I want to be the best that I can be. And I know this is the first time I had this type of venue to help me. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I want to be able to help other people get there as well. Because I know, like you said from the beginning, it's more than just the food. Right. The food will be the basis of where helping you to have that energy to do the things you need to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to, you say you want to help people as well, and that's great. So I'm going to give you the opportunity, Jacqueline, to help Tilla. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to help her.
Okay.
Think back, Jacqueline, when you were coming through the 40-day tournament, and tell Tilla something that you learned that if you could have gone back to redo it, you maybe could have gotten even better results than you did. Does that question make sense? I hope.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Please.
You can't take for granted that you know how much food weighs.
Right.
You can't just look at food and think that, oh, this is about right. You have to weigh your food. Like, don't get away from weighing your food. Even if you think you knew that it was about 20 grapes or something, don't take the chance.
Right.
You never know if this set of grapes is different from another set of grapes. So always weigh your food. That's the biggest thing. I know of some service or whatever had offered little color-coded, I don't know what service that is, but people were relying on that. You have to weigh your food. Never get away from weighing your food. That's definite.
Great advice.
All right, that's good advice, isn't it? That's excellent. Thank you, Jacqueline. That's wonderful. Now, I want to ask you all a question as well, and I want to talk about the pre-work. Tilla, how do you feel the pre-work? What do you feel about it? And did it help you? And if so, was there a lesson that resonated with you more than another?
You know, Dr. Joe, it was everything. I don't think we could have gone on this journey without the pre-work, because, you know, everything's about a mindset.
Yes.
And if you let your mind wander and play tricks on you, and you talked about our cues, that particular seminar really stood out for me, being, you know, addicted to Coca-Cola. Dr. Joe, I couldn't look at the color red. I couldn't walk into a grocery store. I couldn't, you know, everything in life was a visual cue for me wanting more Coca-Cola. So when you taught us the mindset and to recognize what our cues are, writing them down and figuring out, well, how are we going to deal with those cues? That just meant the world to me. The whole mindset and the walking in your power. You know, every day I have your voice in my head, and it says, Tilla, you got to walk in your power today. Whether I'm going to be late for a meal or not weigh my food or not do my exercise, I hear Dr. Joe, you're not walking in your power. So those particularly resonated with me. And then, of course, let's not forget my friendly lion behind me. You know, the story of the lion and the lion skin. And yeah, I don't think I could have ever gone through that detox, for example, without all the pre-work. So that really was a godsend. That was just a gift on a silver platter that just helped me get ready for this journey. Because I mean, this is just the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And seeing my weight going down, I'm not losing my weight because I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to find it back. Right. I'm dropping it. So just dropping all this weight has been just such a gift. And without you piquing our mindset, I don't think I could have ever gotten through this.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Jacqueline, I want to ask you the same question about the pre-work. What are your thoughts of it?
It was definitely needed. It made me start listening and trying to follow and get my mind right in the right order before I waited to the day we were going to start. It was the information was so impactful and so important that I didn't want to wait. Like, I know you gave us permission to, this your last day to get it in. I didn't even want to take that chance. I could always hear almost every pre-work session playing in my mind every day as I walked. And one of my co-workers was also in the 40-day turnup, which was very helpful with me. So we bounced off of each other every day. So it was definitely needed. You need all that time to get your mind right.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. And it's amazing how, you know, it was like the process before the process. Because what I want to see for people is when you guys come through, you retain the knowledge, and that the pre-work is an integral part of that. So that is
Absolutely.
great. I want to thank both of you, amazing ladies. Tilla, thank you for being our guest and my guest. Jacqueline, thank you for being my guest. I had great times with you all one-on-one as well as collective. And before we get off, Jacqueline, I want you to shout out your group, your leader, say whatever you want to say. You want to shout them out?
Yes, my group are called the Body Snatchers.
Oh, wow. Shout out to the Body Snatchers.
And my team leader is Danielle Dickinson. And shout out to everyone.
Right. Shout out to them. And Tilla, I know you shouted yours out but at the beginning, but shout them out again.
So my team is the international team, and they're from Germany, England, United States, and Canada.
Awesome.
And our team leader is Kia Jefferson, and our super leader is Tamika. And we have Felicia, Markeisha, Sharon, Diane, Courtney, my buddy, I love you, and Barbara, Addie, Unique, Joyce, and Jess. I love you guys. It's so great to be a team with you, and you know, we haven't let time zones get in our way. We work around it. We have a group chat every day, and everybody's just so inspiring and so uplifting. And, you know, I feel like I have a brand new family. So I love you guys.
Awesome. Tilla, thank you so much. Jacqueline, thank you so much. Tilla, I'm going to get with you to get your information so we can get that to your son. I'll contact you after this session. And Tilla, thank you for being a part. Jacqueline, thank you for being a part. Love you guys, and y'all keep on climbing. Okay. Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right. There we go. What a great session, gang. Village Chat with Miss Tilla, Johanna, and Jacqueline. What a great, great guest. I know you guys had an awesome time. Wasn't that a great testimonials on both sides? I mean, we were able to meet Caden, Tilla's son. We were able to hear her testimony. We were able to hear the testimony of Jacqueline and where she started, being a nurse, wanting to improve upon herself. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So that is awesome, guys. I'm so glad you joined me. I got a couple of housekeeping issues, not issues, but items that I want to cover. But before I cover the housekeeping items, I want to give a shout out to all of you who are watching this. This is on our YouTube, Journey Life TV YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to all of you who are watching this and you're not a part of the village. You're listening to these people's testimonies, and perhaps you're wondering how you can be a part. You can join and visit our website at www.journeylife.tv. You can visit us there. You can kind of peruse through the website. There's a place where you can leave your information and add you to the list, and we'll be able to tell you about the next session. I do 3 sessions per year. This is the second session. We normally do one at the beginning of the year, spring, the summer, and then we'll have a fall session that'll end up right before Thanksgiving, somewhere along those lines. So for those of you who want that information, you can visit our site there. You know, I'm very proud and pleased when when I hear people who come through this process and they're getting results in their lives, they're becoming healthier, they're losing weight, they're empowering themselves. And you see, what I love about this process is it gives people what most people don't get in the world, and that's empowerment. When you really think about your life, how many times do you feel that something externally is empowering you? I know your relationship with God. I know that many people are people of faith. Many people believe in God. I get that, but that's internal. But how many things, entities, people that are in our lives are people authentically empowered? And see, that's the reason why this village is so special. When you heard Tilla's comment on the gentleman charging $5,000, I mean, come on. Like I mean, who am I to judge anyone? But listen, that's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of us being in this particular village together, and people are getting what it is that they need on all levels, and that's great. A couple things I want to go over with you. All right. Tomorrow morning, probably sometime around 8 to 8:30 a.m., I will be going live to provide week 1 statistics. We have an in-house statistician. Shout out to Lisa. She's been with me since day 1, who analyzes all of the statistics. This isn't some one-off to where we sitting up here telling you how much you weigh and all these different things. When you get those numbers to your leaders on Saturday, this is why I press you to get them to us. Because I need to be in a position as your leader to come to you in the morning and say, this is how you performed. To get a snapshot of how the group is doing, so I can know what adjustments do we need to make, how well are they performing or not, what do we need to do differently, and what tomorrow's session will be is me presenting to you the performance of the whole village. So we'll be dealing in averages, groups, and you'll see how we do it. So for those of you who can be a part in the morning, join us. I don't know exactly what time that'll be, but sometime early in the morning, I'll give you a couple hours head start. If you're asleep or you're in a different part of the world or you can't make it, you'll be able to see it. Those videos will stay up indefinitely, okay? But I'm proud that we are an entity that comes with science, all right? And we're coming with science, and that's great because I can go to any group and get statistical data, and I can compare any other group because of that. So, we're not just out here helping folks lose a couple pounds. We're out here making changes in the lives of people in our community that can be supported through data. And you guys know when you have data supporting testimonies that's designed for people, that's a powerful thing. That's free. That was birthed out of the Black church for Black people but we encompass all who are a part of it, man, come on. Come on. Come on. That's great, man. And see, you all don't really understand it. I've tried to teach different things, and I know you're getting it, but you all don't understand how you're changing. You're changing, and you don't even realize that you're changing. You're starting to believe in yourself. And when you start to believe in yourself, that's a strong energy that changes how you think, that changes how you react, how you respond. So you are creating a life that you've been praying for. You're creating it. You're creating it. By what? Shifting your mind. I read this text to you. I'm going to read it again. Romans 12, verse 2. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. People miss it. Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye what? Transformed by what? The renewing of your mind. So you transform by what? Changing your mind, so that what? So that you may prove and understand what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So listen to what the text is saying. The text is saying, if you want to understand God's will for your life, that's a spiritual manifestation. There must be a mental transformation. Do you understand that? So our mental health, our mental aptitude, our mental abilities to shift our thoughts are integral in our spiritual matriculation and growth. That's the power of it. That my mental shift is connected to my spiritual growth. That's in the text. That's in the text. You are growing spiritually, not because you lost 10 pounds in a week and can't believe it. And many people did. Or 8 pounds or 4 pounds or 12 pounds or whatever it is that you lost. Not because you're getting off of prescription. You're changing your mind. Your thoughts are adjusting. You're going to see every form of your life is going to change and shift. Some of y'all are going to be hitting me up saying, Dr. Joe, I done met me somebody. Well, what happened? I thought there wasn't no good man out here. I thought there wasn't any good women out here. What happened? You know what happened? You happened. You happened. You happened. You see, when you sow a seed in life, and if you put a seed in the ground, like we were talking about with Farmer Fred, shout out to Brother Fred. He was telling us, for those of you who saw that video, how to take those okra seeds and put them in the dirt. You cover them. And he read the back of the label. He says it's a 14-day germination process. Meaning what? Meaning when I plant the seed, I can expect growth in 14 days. Now, the key is this. Growth of those seeds happen under the ground before over the ground. Let me say that again. growth of those seeds occur under the ground before it's over the ground. So come with me now. If I plant something and the germination process is 14 days, it doesn't mean nothing's happened for 14 days. It means that I don't see it for 14 days. You see, the change that is coming, Lord have mercy, you don't see it yet. The sacrifices that you've made, you don't see it yet. Yeah, I know you lost a little bit of weight. You're deflating a little bit. Your ankle's not as swollen. That's not it. I told you it's not about that. Just wait. You see, sometimes in life, we have to have the faith to plant a seed and shout even when we don't see growth. You understand what I'm saying? Let me give you a testimony. I've never told you this. I'm gonna give you a testimony and then I'm done for the night. This process started, like I told you all, almost 10 years ago. Started in our church that I pastor, a great group of people. Shout out to Salem Bible Church, Atlanta, and Stonecrest. I was in a all men's ministry where we were coming to the church meeting before church. Listen to this. At 5 o'clock in the morning. Now listen to this. You know, folks say, well, you know, men don't come to the church and blah, 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 blah. Listen, the name of the ministry that we had was called 12. And it started off with 12 men. And then those 12 men started inviting people. We got to the point to where men were at the church when it was pitch black outside, on time. We were meeting as men, and then we went to church and worship. And one day in that group, I was talking to Steph. Shout out to Steph, my journey administrator, been with me literally from day one. And I said, Steph, you know, I got the journey that had been constructed, but I said, I don't know if men will want to go through it. She says, what you mean? So I said, you think I should ask them? She says, Doc, I really think they would love it. I said, okay. So I went in that group and I told those men what the journey was conceptually. Okay, because we started with the journey and then it grew into the 4-day turn up. And all the men in the group said, hey, take us through it. We want to go. So I said, okay. So I took them through it. It was 13 men, 4 women. Hired a statistician from Morehouse School of Medicine. Because I wanted to hire somebody to where they wouldn't say I was making it up. One of the original founders, shout out to Dr. Andre McShann, worked out through his company, a medical company that paid for all of the pre-tests. They paid for the blood sugar monitors, the cholesterol, which is very expensive, the blood pressure, waist circumference. All those things were paid for. And we did a pre and post from these brothers, right? And when the stats came back from Morehouse School of Medicine, it came back that the process worked. And then I started doing class after class after class after class. I started in 2011, 2011, because next year will be 2012 is when we started, because next year will be 10 years. And then I started doing class after class after class. It started with 100 people, 100 people. Then it grew to 200 people a session. Then the biggest session I had was in 2013, where I had 400 people all over the country going through the process. And I kept using the same leaders. And I kept having all these problems. I had all this attrition. I didn't have any money. And I got to the point to where I said, man, I quit. I said, I can't do this anymore. And I took a year off because I thought that I was I thought I was spinning my wheels. I said, I can't keep doing this. I don't have the leaders like I need. I can't, I'm dealing with all these problems. And I just stopped. And one day, during that season when I wasn't having meetings, the Lord spoke to me and said, I didn't tell you to stop. I said, but God, I said, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I said, Lord, my leaders are burnt out. I'm burnt out. I'm people still getting results now. Lord, I don't have money. He said, I didn't tell you to quit. I said, well, Lord, what do you want me to do? My leaders are burning out. I don't have money. Folk won't support it. I can't charge because you told me not to. What am I supposed to do? I thought I was dealing with a dead organization. God said, I didn't tell you to quit. He said, I want you to go back. And the Lord told me, just like I'm sitting up here, why would I sit up here and lie to you? What do I have to lie about this? What? He said, go back. I said, okay. The next day, I get a call from the American Heart Association through my assistant at that time. The next day, do you hear me? Not the next week, the next day when I said, I'll go. I got a call from American Heart Association wanting to partner with me. They brought me in, said, hey, what do you need to do what you're trying to do? So what you mean, what do I need? They said, anything you need. We got Hickey machines. These were $15,000 blood pressure machines. They bought blood pressure cuffs. We got all kind of kits, shirts, plates. We had special cuffs for people who were so obese we couldn't take. They bought everything I need. I said, I also need something for my leaders. They gave me $400 gift cards. Listen to this. Listen to me now. $400. And folks, there are people who are still in the process who know I'm not lying. They gave me $400 gift cards to give them at the end of each one. They underwrote the whole thing. Now, I didn't get a dime, but listen, I wasn't trying. I didn't even care about that. All I wanted was what I needed to be effective. What's the point? The point is this. All of those sessions, when no money was coming in, no support was coming in, I was still sowing seeds. I was still planting and sowing like I was still being obedient. I was still following God. And see, I gave up because I didn't realize that when a seed is planted, the plant grows down before it grows up. You see? Let me say that again. When a seed is planted, the plant grows down before it grows up. The roots were taking its place. Now, peep game. When I went to American Heart Association, that's when I came out with the 40-day turn up. Because the 40-day turn up was a piece of the journey. It was focused on diet. Right? So I start doing the 40-day turn up, stay with me, and stop doing the journey. So then I kept going down the line, down the line. 40-day turn up, 40-day turn up, 40-day turn up, 40-day turn up, 40-day turn up. Stop having leaders. Didn't have leaders. It wasn't working. I said, man, I can't do this anymore. At the end of 2016, I ran 6 consecutive sessions from 2014 to 2016. And I got to the point to where that same quit came. I said, I can't do this. I can't do it. I said, Lord, I can't run it without the leaders. I said, I can't do it. I'm done. The Lord told me, he said, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you not to quit? I said, but Lord, he said, what did I do the first time? I said, Lord, you're right. So I'm not going to quit. Top of 2017 comes. Watch this. I get a call the next week from the partnership that I had saying it was ending. Okay, stay with me now because I'm missing somebody in the back. Partnership gone. No more gift cards. No more incentives for my leaders. No more perks for blood pressure cuffs and scales. None of it. I had no companies underwriting me. I had no grants. And they called me taking back the Higgin machines. They said, we need that back. They took it all. So here I am, Lord, this is why I quit. I'm thinking that my health and my sustainability was because of the American Heart Association. God said to me, he said, in the beginning, he said, I made this. That's what he told me. He said, I created the heavens and the earth. I created you. I created everything you see. I created the air. I created the bird. I created this. You don't need nothing. I said, Lord, what am I going to do now? He said, keep going. That next Monday, I talked to my journey administrator, Steph Andrews. Pay attention. She says, Doc, I got an idea. I said, what is it? She says, I think, all right? We need people to start in the turn up and then, based upon their performance, invite them to go through the journey. Bam! That's what we're going to do. 2018 comes. I'm retweaking things. 2019 comes. 2020 comes. Pastor Kenny Alexander of the Antioch Baptist Church, shout out to Antioch, shout out to Pastor Alexander. He called me, he says, Joe, he says, listen, I'm looking to do something at my church. And I've heard many of our members have come through the turn up and want to do it here, want to see if you do it. I said, yeah. I said, I'll tell you what, not only will I do it there, but I'll do it exclusively at your church. This is top of 2020. "2020 comes, start with his church. Amazing. I mean, the energy was just on 10. And in the middle of the process, COVID comes. I said, Lord, here we go again. Every time I get traction, something happens. So while I was in the midst, true story, of the Antioch Strong, shout out to Antioch Strong, shout out to Pastor Kenny, Lady Lisa, shout out to all the folk who are in the process, tons of them. In the middle of the process, at week 3, we got 3 more weeks. I can't even teach in person. I said, Lord, how am I going to do this? And I'm thinking, I said, it's over. It's over. I said, Lord, I can't continue. He said, did I tell you to quit? I didn't tell you to quit. I said, well, Lord, what am I going to do? I can't teach the class. How am I going to do it? How am I going to keep people going? So I come home rigging something. I got a stand. And I had my presentation in front of me. And I put the stand and my phone on it so folk could see what it is that I was teaching. And y'all know where I come from, we call that Negro rigging. And I would use another word, but I don't use that word. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I rigged that sucker. And it was there in Antioch that I realized, well, if this works this way, why can't we make the whole thing virtual? Bam! God said, I told you. I said, Lord, I've been doing this stuff in person for 10 years. And you bring a pandemic that makes me think everything is over. And here I am realizing that was the best thing that could happen. And the next session, we went virtual. Starting with the 40-day turn up. Allowing the journey to be invite only. And this session is the first time that I've had more leaders than I have needed. The Lord said, when you plant a seed, that seed is going to grow down before it grows up. What's the point? The point is all of my successes were establishing their roots before I could see it. All of you who are in this, don't worry about the weight. Sow the seeds. Don't worry about your blood pressure or coming off of it. Sow the seeds. Don't worry about reversing your diabetes. It's all coming. Sow your seeds. Don't worry about becoming your best possible self. Sow the seeds. Don't worry about finding a man, finding a woman. Sow the seeds today. That's what we do. We bank robbers and we seed sowers. If you don't know what a bank robber is, then get in the village and maybe one day you'll be blessed to find out. We are bank robbers and seed sowers. See, everybody out here trying to lose weight, and that's why they keep yo-yo. They trying to drop 10 pounds so they can fit in a dress. Forget a dress. Forget a wedding. I'm talking about the rest of my life. You see what I'm saying? Sow the seeds. And when you sow seeds, you remember the seed grows down before it grows up. Gang, I've had an amazing time with each of you. Thank you to my special guest, Tilla and Jacqueline, for being a part. It's an honor to sit up here and to talk with you all and to discuss your stories. Thank you all for your attendance. Thank each of you in the village who are here, who participated. Thank each of you who have no clue who I am, what this is, but you watched. Thank you guys. In the morning, I'll have those statistics for you. Have an amazing, tranquil evening. Guys, listen, let's put all of our successes behind us. Let's put all of our failures behind us. Tomorrow's a new day. Hit the reset button. If you did not have a good week last week, make the adjustments that you know you need to make and don't make them this week. That's the only way we can get better. Let's have an amazing evening. Let's have a kickoff to an amazing week. God willing, I'll see you in the morning. Peace, love, and blessings.